Good evening. In our headlines for tonight's news bulletin, power cuts to the southern side of the island yesterday was caused by lightning strike. Motor vehicle accidents in the township of Alofi over the weekend prompted a need to decrease speeds. Roads have become a topic for public discussion while government entities work on repairs. Local NGO Amatawhua take on board the Clean Seas Turn the Tide on Plastic campaign to raise awareness. The local men's kilikiki season finally got off to a start with their first round of games over the weekend. The southern side of the island was without power for most of yesterday because overhead power lines were affected by lightning strikes in the early hour of the morning. The unexpected outage disrupted some households' daily routines and even some of the government departments in areas affected. Due to the rainy conditions, it was decided for the safety of Niue Power staff, they would wait for the weather to clear up before starting on assessment for repairs. There have been reports of several households where electrical appliances were damaged, and the problem was confined to the Whanua Kula area, where Niue Power staff worked well into the afternoon to resolve. People were advised to turn off all their electrical appliances and remove them from plugs until power was restored. We are also aware that there was another power outage in Alofi today, and that has been restored. We are unable to get any further comment from the Niue Power Corporation regarding this particular news story. Over the weekend, 2 motor vehicle accidents took place in Alofi, prompting a reminder from Niue Police to motorists to slow down and follow road rules. Early Saturday morning, a crash was reported of a vehicle coming down the Tapeo Hill that failed to stop due to apparent brake issues, and that caused the motor vehicle to crash into the stone fence at the Huanaki near the playground. The driver of the vehicle had minor injuries and was escorted to the police by drivers that had followed him down the hill. No one else was hurt or injured. The second crash involved 2 vehicles that crashed into each other later on Saturday afternoon at the junction between Hui Hui and the public road. The first vehicle had 2 occupants in the truck, and that was heading towards Tapeo Hill, while the second vehicle was exiting Hui Hui. According to the senior medical officer at Niue Full Hospital, Dr. Eddie Akawala, 2 of the people involved in the accidents had minor injuries, and this time 1 adult is currently still hospitalized but will hopefully be released or discharged today. Chief of Police Tony Edwards said that inquiries are still being carried out at this time for these investigations into both motor vehicle accidents. Niue Police continue to remind motorists to be vigilant and alert while on the road and to ensure that traffic is clear at all times to prevent accidents. A local non-government organization, Amatawhua, is venturing into a project that looks at minimizing the use of plastics and their disposal. The Clean Seas Turning the Tide on Plastics campaign was launched last week during the Global Oceans Forum that was held in Bali. Niue has a large amount of imported goods with plastic packaging, and use of plastic is also common because of its convenience. We spoke to the Amatawhua founder, Fiafia Rex, to find out whether plastics in the ocean are an issue for Niue.
I don't think on the scale compared to other big countries outside of Niue or the Pacific as such, but in regards to plastic in itself, I think it's both a blessing and a curse. And if we look at it, we currently don't have a scheme that's fulfilled at the moment in regard to reducing, reusing, and recycling. And it hasn't been 100% implemented, the way we dispose of plastic. And it's mostly awareness and education that I think is pivotal to any campaign when you're trying to raise an issue. And whilst it's not, you have a lot of tourists that say, it shouldn't be a problem here, right, because Niue is small. But if you accrue all the rubbish and you look at our landfill at Tafalalo, we have nothing to dispose of that, and eventually cyclones will come. It'll pass through down to our sewage, through our water lanes, because our landscape is porous, and then it will eventually end up in our oceans, which is consumed by plankton, consumed by fish, consumed by us. So the toxins always come back to us.
Research carried out in the 5 oceans have resulted in the production of documentaries that will help raise more awareness about the effects of plastics on ocean environments. There is also a buyback incentive in the pipeline to get people to collect plastics to be recycled properly.
So I'm pretty excited to work with some of the government sectors in regard to raising awareness in the next month, because a few government sectors have already highlighted their lack of resources or time in regard to trying to get the campaign moving over here. I've spoken with Vaughan Wellington, and he helped us. He donated a boat to our marine mammal research last year, and he's a really beautiful philanthropist, and he's worked and donated some of his time and wealth to a beautiful project called Plastic Oceans and A Wave of Change. And what they've done is they've explored, they've collected rubbish essentially out of 5 oceans, and they've documented a film that's up for nomination. I'm pretty sure they'll have a good run of that, but he's indicated his help for us in wanting to do a buyback scheme whereby, like the cans, we can offer to the Niueans if we do jump on board and helping him help us to buy back 1 kilogram of plastics, and in return they can get $1 per that kilogram. In the end, it'll help us dramatically in terms of reducing our waste and sending it off, because plastics are indestructible, and in the end it's only going to be our oceans that are going to suffer and us humans that are going to suffer.
Omatawhā is looking forward to working with the government divisions and other projects like Ridge to Reef next month to work on an awareness campaign about the effects of plastics. The group has also put together another initiative for the whole month of May, where all Omatawhā members are being encouraged to minimize their use of plastics and apply the reduce, reuse and recycle concept. Excitement and competitiveness filled the air last Saturday as local cricket teams finally got off to a start with their first round of games. There were 2 pools. Pool A had Mutalou, Liku, Hakupu, Vaea and Alofi, and in Pool B for this year, La Kepa, Tamkotonga, Awasele, Tuapa, Hikutoi and Makefu. This year the village greens of Hakupu, Liku, Vaea and La Kepa were used, and there has been an addition of the Tuapa village green. Awasele and Makefu went up against each other in Tuapa, Awasele batting first, managing to get 271 runs, and after the break Makefu tried to catch up but only managed to score 84 runs. In the village of La Kepa, the teams of Vaea and Hakupu. Vaea bat first with a total score of 207 runs. After the lunch break, Hakupu played catch-up but came up a little short with only 146 runs. Alofi and Mutalou went up against each other in the village green of Liku. Alofi bat first with a total of 322 runs. Mutalou took to the field but ran out of time, only managing 301 runs. La Kepa and Hikutoi bat in Hakupu. Hikutoi bat first and they managed to get 159 runs, and it only took La Kepa 7 batters to catch up to score with 164 runs. The Niuekilikiki Federation Chairman Tommy Sikea said that there have been a few rules that have been renewed and introduced to help rectify past issues that have been raised during games. He also notified that the village green of Mutalou would not be used this season. There will be another round of cricket games this coming weekend with the men's team of Hakupu on standby. And that ends tonight's news bulletin. Do join us again for our next news bulletin on Thursday.